Hi guys, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to discuss a problem of genetic improvement, the concept of genetic improvement. Where animal breeders or in terms of animal improvement, we try to select some good uh, parents from a population of parents, then we mate them and give rise to offspring which are much better in terms of uh, their genotype and then their phenotype. Okay. So that is the concept of genetic improvement, right? So now this question goes, the average weight at 140 days in a population of pigs is 75 kilograms. The average weight of selected individuals from this population for the breeding purposes is 82 kilograms. The heritability of 140-day weight in pigs is 0.4. The generation interval is 1.5 years. So these are the data that we're given. Now let's look at the question. We have to calculate one, the reach in kilograms, the genetic gain per year, the expected average weight of the offspring generation. Now, let's move on to the solution. From our data, from the question, we have the average weight of the population to be 75 kilograms, the average weight of the selected individuals to be 82 kilograms, the heritability to be 0.4, and the generation interval to be 1.5 years. Now, this data is far enough for us to be able to calculate what were demanded of us in the question. Now, we are first to calculate for the reach, right? The reach. Now, the reach is just a common name for what we call the selection interval. Sorry, the selection differential. Now, to calculate for selection differential, which is the SD, we take out the population average from the selected individual's average. All right. We assume that the individuals that were selected from the population are much better, all right, on average than the whole population. So if you are breeding, for instance, in this case, you are breeding pigs, all right. So we look at they are bringing them in terms of they are looking at their weight, right? Their body weight. And so we weigh them, we take out the best ones in terms of weight, then we find their average. Okay. So you can see that the average of the best out of that population will always be higher than the average of the whole population. So that is why to avoid negatives, we don't take out the average of the selected individuals from the population, but rather we take the average of the population from the average of the selected individuals. So selection differential is going to be equal to PS minus P, where the PS represents the average of the selected individuals and the P represents the average of the population. So in the question, the average of the selected individual, the average weight was 82 kilograms, and then that of the population was 75. So to calculate the selection differential or the reach, you know, 7 kilograms. I think that's well understood. Then to calculate the genetic gain per year, you have to determine what you call genetic gain. Okay. So the genetic gain is calculated in terms of the offspring. Okay, the offspring. How much improvement did we observe in the offspring after the breeding program? All right. We want to look at we are trying to improve on the genetic or the genotype of the offspring. And when there's an improvement in that, we expect that the phenotype, in which in this case we are looking at the average weight, the weight of the organism. We are expecting that to improve as well. Okay. So to calculate the genetic gain per year, we have to first determine what we call genetic gain. We have to first calculate it. And to calculate for genetic gain, we just we just multiply the selection differential or what's called the range by the heritability. As simple as that. So genetic gain is going to be equal to selection differential times the heritability. Now, heritability was discussed earlier in my video. We have a full video on heritability, how to calculate it and everything. So I advise you to look through or scroll through my videos and then watch that to get a better understanding on heritability. Now, um, earlier we calculated the SD or the selection differential to be 7 kilograms. And then the question, we were given the heritability to be 0.40. So in all, the genetic gain is going to be equal to 7 times 0.4. That's going to be 2.8 kilograms. There's kilogram because the solution differential was in kilograms. So genetic gain is going to be 2.8 kilograms. It means that after selection and everything, there was an improvement, right, in the offspring by 2.8 kilograms. Okay, so you look at the population, then you look at the offsprings that were given. Their weight was about 2.8 kilograms more than the total population's average weight. That is the implication here. Now, if you stop here, we are wrong because we were to calculate the genetic gain per year. So you have to look at the generation interval. Okay. So if you know the generation interval, we could calculate the genetic gain per year by dividing the genetic gain by the generation interval. Okay. The generation interval talks about the um how long, okay, it took the selected parents to give rise to the offspring. Right. So in this case, it was 1.5 years. So you could divide the genetic gain by 1.5 years. All right. And that gives us 1.87 kilograms per year. So it means that in every year, we get about 1.87 kilograms improvement in the genetic, in the genotype. Right. So that is the answer for genetic gain per year. I'll move on to the third question. We are to calculate the expected average weight of the offspring generation. Now, I said earlier that we compare that to the population. So earlier, the genetic gain was 2.8 kilograms. So throughout the whole breeding program, the genetic gain was 2.8 kilograms. So to calculate for the expected weight of the offspring, we to get the offspring's expected weight, we add the genetic gain to the population average. All right. So P plus genetic gain, that is now 75 kilograms for the population plus 2.8 kilograms. That is genetic gain. So you get 77.8 kilograms. That is how we can tackle this question as easy as that. Now let's look at this case as well. A farmer had a head of pig, which on average weighed 80 kilograms. So that is total population. P weighed 80 kilograms. So P was 80 kilograms at 6 months of age. Now he selected for breeding purposes gilts, which average 84 kilograms. Now the gilts are the female pigs, right? They are going to be mated with the boars. So the boars average 92 kilograms after that 6 months of age. Now the offspring produced had an average weight of 84 kilograms at 6 months. So you can see that in this case, the age of the offspring has been determined to be 84 kilograms. Now, in the earlier question, we didn't know, or we were not told the age of the offsprings. Okay, we were given. I mean, we were told to calculate. But in this case, we were given. All right. So it means it has been observed that their age is 84 kilograms. All right. So we were given the age of goats and the age of boars. Now we have to calculate the heritability at 6 months wait. How do you go about that? Now, this is the data provided by the question. The average weight of population is 80. Average weight of goats and boars 84 and 92 respectively. Then the observed weight of offspring is 80. What's the heritability? Now, we know genetic gain is equal to selection differential times heritability. Alright, so if you want to calculate heritability, we need to make heritability the subject in this case, which is going to be genetic gain divided by selection differential. Alright, so to determine heritability, we first have to determine genetic gain, then we determine selection differential before we come and then put them in the formula to determine the heritability. So now, let's first look at selection differential, which is very easy to determine. Which is what the difference between the average of the selected parents and the average of the whole population. PS minus P. Now, the selected parents, that's the girls and the boys. The girls had an average weight of 84, and then the boys had an average weight of 92. So we could find the average of those two to determine the average of um, the selected parents. So PS is going to be equal to the mean weight of the boys and the girls. That is 92 plus 84 divided by 2. So you're going to get 88 kilograms. So now we go back to SD to be 88 minus 80, right? So we get 8 kilograms. So 8 kilograms is the selecting differential or the range. Now let's move to calculate for the genetic gain. Now we have to understand that before we could get the expected weight of offspring, assuming we didn't know, we have to always add the genetic gain to the total population, the average of the total population, right? As we did in the earlier question. But in this case, we were given the observed weight of the offspring. So if you have the observed weight of the offspring and we also have the population's average, then we could get the genetic gain by taking uh, the population's average from the observed weight of the offsprings. Now, this is what I mean. But observed weight equals P plus change in gene, that is the genetic gain, right? But in the question, we're given observed weight of offsprings to be 84 kilograms, right? And so since we know P also to be 80 kilograms from the question, to get the genetic gain, we subtract the 80 from the 84. That is, we make genetic gain the subject. So you're gonna get 84 minus 80, which will give rise to 4 kilograms. So now we have finally been able to determine our two parameters, our genetic gain and also the selection differential. So heritability is gonna be equal to genetic gain divided by selection differential. So we get heritability to be 4 kilograms divided by 8 kilograms. So in the end, we get 0.5 or 50% heritability, as easy as that. So this is how we could go about genetic improvement problems in animal breeding programs or animal breeding. All right. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Subscribe to my channel, like and share, and also comment as well. All right. Thank you.